to Pure Yoga and today's Pilates session. We're going to work through a small sequence of Pilates moves that we've been working on in class in the last few weeks. We're going to start off using a few props as well. We have the Pilates circle and we've also got a very small Pilates ball. Both of these actually add some intensity to each of our workouts, so it's purely optional whether we use them or we don't. Now we are going to start in our lying position here. This sets us up for what we know as a pelvic curl. So the girls have got their arms balancing them down by their sides, their heads resting lightly onto the mat. The chin slightly tucks down towards the chest just to lengthen the back of the neck, and both the feet are as wide as the hips. It's from this position here that we then are going to lift up into a pelvic curl. Now that's going to happen on the breath out. So as we exhale, the lower back is going to gently flatten into the floor, and we're going to peel the spine slowly away from the floor. And you'll notice that the hips lift and elevate upwards towards the ceiling. At the top of this lift, there's a breath that comes in, and as we breathe out, we're going to release the spine slowly with each vertebrae back down onto the floor. So it's almost like a little mini massage that happens to the spine here. I'm going to take another two, so take the breath in, and as we breathe out, tilt the pelvis back and begin to lift slowly away from that floor. Notice at the top of the lift once again that we take one full breath in, and then slowly on the breath out, each of the vertebrae release one at a time back down to the floor to eventually find the tailbone returning back to the mat for what we know is a neutral position for the pelvis. We have one more like this. So taking the breath out, tilt the pelvis back, and slowly release the spine off the mat. Inhale for me here, and knowing that on your breath out, each vertebrae will return back to the floor one at a time. Now we are going to add some intensity to this next one. The girls are going to collect their blue balls that are at their sides. Now the ball's going to go under the sole of their left foot. Now the foot's going to be a little less stable here, so we have to work a little harder into those abdominal muscles to keep the ball from wanting to wobble around. Now both feet are stable here because the right foot is on the floor, but we are going to press through the sole of the left foot onto this ball. So again, exhale as we tilt the pelvis back. I'm going to try two on each of the sides, and the pelvis will lift back up off the mat. We'll take one breath in, and then again exhaling, the spine returns back to the floor one vertebrae at a time. And the leg now on this left side is working really quite hard here. Again, exhale, tilting the pelvis back. And you will notice that as we lift up onto this ball, that there's a lot of extra work now in this hamstring on the left leg. When we come back down after that breath out, this ball's going to switch over to the other side. So the ball will just move over onto the right foot. And again, we've got another two coming on this leg here. Breathing out to the pelvis back, you'll notice the spine releasing one vertebrae at a time off the floor. Ready to take a breath in, and then easing back down slowly on that exhalation. So again, now a little bit of extra work going on in this right hamstring. And here's our last one now, inhale. Tilt the pelvis back, peel that spine slowly away from the floor, lift the hips high up in the air. One breath in for me on this last one. This is going to finish us off. Exhale, releasing the spine slowly back down into the floor. And release back down. Now we are going to take this ball back out from underneath both of the feet. It's just going to sit out on our hand weights. A nice way just to stop that ball from rolling around on us. We take ourselves into a single leg lift from here. We're going to lead with the left leg. Lift the left leg away from the floor. Stack the knee over the hip joint like Julie has here. And then we're going to do the second leg. Knee comes up. Again, it stacks over. So noticing here, knees are directly over the hips here, and ankles are immediately in line with those knees. We're going to start to tap the right foot down to the floor on our breath in. And as it releases down to the floor, the breath out will draw it back up. We'll switch it to the second side. So you'll notice that the movement is coming from the hip here. It's not coming from behind the back of the neck. So we're really having to switch on into the core so that the leg can be lifted via the trunk, not via the power that we have in these big, thick, heavy legs. So the idea here, keeping the pelvis very still and very stable as we move it. You'll notice that there is no movement through the back of the girls. They are maintaining a nice, strong, neutral position from here. So we will take one more on each of the legs. We'll do one more on that right leg, tapping down towards the floor. And again, maintaining that angle behind the back of the knee all the way through the movement. To our last one, we'll be on that left leg, tapping down towards the floor and bringing the leg back up. Now, we're not going to come out of this too quickly, so we are going to return that right foot back down to the floor slowly. And we'll do the same with the left. It will meet the floor as well. So all the way, we're still working throughout class. The girls are going to go back and collect their blue ball. We're going to make a small change to this one. This ball's going to sit underneath the back of the pelvis this time. So That same pelvic curl we did before, the ball's going to slip underneath that lower part of the back. The girls are now going to have to balance on this ball, so again, more effort into the core. Let's start back with that right leg, raise the right leg away from the floor. And they're really going to have to brace quite hard in the abdominals now as they lift that left leg off the floor, otherwise they're going to feel themselves wobbling around on the ball. Let's start back with that right leg, tap into the floor like we did first time around. So that's the breath in, and then again, connection to those belly muscles, pull the leg back up. Left will do the same, inhaling, still trying to keep nice and stable on that ball. Exhale as we draw it back up. Breathing in onto that right side. You can remember pulling in through the abdominals to bring the leg back to the top. So you'll notice again, this absolute stillness in the trunk. It's been locked in place because of the firmness into the belly. And then we've just got this one last side to finish off with, left leg tapping down towards the floor. And it coming back up. Now again, we're not going to whip out of this too quickly. We're going to work right to the end. The right leg will return back down to the floor first of all. Again, that element of control as we hit that left one back to the floor. And it's here that the girls get to relax. They get to come up off that ball, a little bit of a pelvic curl. That ball will slip out from underneath and it'll head back onto those small hand weights so that we don't lose the ball. We are going to come into a chest lift from here. Now this is where the hands are going to sit behind the back of the head. We are going to again keep a neutral position in this pelvis, so we don't want to feel our pelvis rolling around. We are going to lift on that exhale up towards the side. So exhale, curling towards the thighs, and then breathing in, we'll head straight back down onto that floor. So you'll notice here that the pelvis is really still. The movement just comes from this trunk extension. So we curl and we flex it forward, and then we inhale, releasing back. They're not big movements, but they are very controlled. Nothing else here is working except for the abdominals. So you'll notice that the legs aren't moving. The girls aren't trying to pull up through the thighs. They're simply isolating the core muscles here. And when we isolate the core muscles, there's again a lot more effort just involved in that trunk. So not letting anything else come out and help us out here. We've only got one more on this chest lift here. So exhale as we bring the chest, so we can feel the ribs sliding down towards the hips, shortening that gap between the lower rib and the hip bones. Now as we finish this last one, we're going to come and collect the Pilates circle. The Pilates circle is going to sit between both of the hands here, and it takes us into what we know as the hula. There's a little bit of rotation in this next one. So we're going to pull up on the exhale, and the circle's going to come to the outside of the left leg as we squeeze. So exhale, lift, squeeze, and a little bit of pressure into that circle, head straight back to the floor with the breath in, and then head it over to the other thigh with a bit of a press in between. So as we add a slight amount of pressure and a little bit of that extra squeeze, what we'll notice, simply a little more effort going into these obliques, those side belly muscles. So we lift, we add intensity by using the circle, and we come back down on the inhale, lift, add intensity by adding that extra squeeze. Now all of this can be done without the props as well, so if we find that using any of the props in class become too challenging, this could simply be done with the hands in directly behind the back of the head without the use of the circle. So we've got one more to each of the sides. Exhale, press, squeeze. Inhale, come back down onto the mat. Exhale, press, squeeze out to that left side. That will complete the work on this side. Head back down towards the floor. The girls are going to lengthen their legs all the way out in front. This is going to bring us into what we know as a roll up. So keeping the arms long and straight on the breath out, they're going to curl through the abdominals and bring themselves slowly up to sit. For me from here, inhale. And then exhale, we're going to ease again slowly back down towards the floor. So again, a little bit like that pelvic curl, each of those vertebrae is going to roll back down onto the mat. As they stay here, we're going to prep the hamstrings. So take the right leg up in the air, and the circle is going to slip over the sole of the foot. So we can also use the circle to assist us to take a slight stretch into the backs of the legs here. So it's not going to strain the neck and the shoulders by trying to hold onto the leg. We're able to hold onto the base of the circle here. So as the leg gets drawn in towards the body, and the other leg remains nice and long and straight, we're starting to prep through the back of this right hamstring. I'm going to change over to the other leg, so that right leg will release out of the circle, and we're good to bring the left leg back through as we step through, push into that circle. And you'll see, notice how the circle has changed shape because the girls are pulling down onto the circle to again help draw this leg closer in towards their body. We'll release that left leg back down to the floor, and we'll still keep hold of the circle because the girls are going to bring themselves back up for me from here. So grabbing hold of both ends of the circle as they breathe out, curling all the way back up to sit. Now we are going to go into leg circles. So we're going to place the circle at the end of the mat so that one ankle, so we'll place the right ankle on top of the circle here. There's a little bit of a balancing action now that we're going to create with the circle and the leg. Now we do need to head back down towards the floor, so let's go back, reach those arms out, control all the way down. Even that within itself is a bit of a workout. Now bring the arms back down by the sides. So the right leg is going to balance for us. The left leg is going to extend upwards towards the ceiling. So there's a little bit of effort now because we don't want this right leg to wobble around. We're going to start a series of circles coming across the body first of all. So this left leg is drawing a series of clockwise circles, whilst all the time trying to maintain a sense of stillness down here in this right leg that is balancing on the Pilates circle. So once we've done one more of these circles heading in this clockwise direction, the leg will actually stop and it's going to reverse the circles going the other way. And there's a lot of connection required into the abdominals to stop this Pilates circle that's sitting on the floor from wanting to wobble around here. So not only the abdominals are switched on, but the legs have to also be quite powerful in this movement as well. We're going to take one more before the leg stops. And then the girls are going to stretch this leg all the way out and down towards the floor. Perfect. Now from here the arm's going to reach back out in front. Now this is not an easy move because from here we have to come back up. So we're going to try and exhale and then draw into the belly. We pull ourselves slowly up to sit. And the girls are going to use the circle to then change over to the other leg. So there's not a lot of rest here. Even to get ourselves up to the next movement on the exhale, we'll come back down. We still have to work. And there's a lot of effort required into the abdominals. So heading up to the ceiling with our right leg, it will extend towards the roof. Again, we start by coming across the body. This time they're anti-clockwise directional circles. But again, still with that same principle of keeping this left leg strong and keeping it very still and very steady. So as we draw the circles, the other thing we need to remember, they are the same size each and every time. We'll take one more before we stop the leg at the top and we need to reverse that movement. So going away from the body now. So again, not only are the circles the same size, but you can notice from the girls, the leg is long and straight. And it's not jerky, there's this beautiful smoothness to this circular movement each time that we create one. And then all that happens by keeping this engagement into the core. This is going to be our last drawing of the circle. Hold the leg at the top for me here. And then reach out through that hip joint to get a little bit of stretch down through the fronts of those thighs. The leg releases to the floor. Now again, that hard move to bring ourselves back up to sit. So taking the breath in, we need to exhale, switch into that core, and we're coming on up. Exhale, curl all the way back up. Once we're up, collect the circle and just bring it into the chest. And that's going to complete that small sequence of moves that we've finished off working through in the last few weeks.